Hello, guys. Good morning, good evening to those who is watching us online, especially in YouTube channel. Today, I think I will be discussing happiness because most people in our society they are not happy. I will describe what does it mean happiness to all of us, and do we happy or we are not happy, but why? We'll answer this question in this video and in this lecture. Let's make clear that what does it mean happiness. Not everyone can clearly explain what happiness is, even to themselves. But despite this, we all want to be happy and we strive for our happiness as best we can. We understand that being happy is a good thing. That's the state in which one wants to believe very much. Everything around is joyful and you feel light and calm and just enjoy life. That's why such a state attracts us. We want to find it and stay in it permanently. And even though it's probably impossible to be happy all the time, still, most of the time, a person, in my opinion, should be feel happy, even if all is not well in his life. It seems to be that I had discovered for myself the secret of happiness, thanks to which I have come to a state of peace and mental comfort that has been accompanying me lately. And now I'm helping to other people who are not feeling well to find that state. In this article and video, I will share this secret of happiness with you, that you can enjoy your life and suffer less. What makes a person unhappy or happy is in his thoughts, not external circumstances. But by controlling his thoughts, he controls his happiness. Let's say, what's happiness? Let's give a definition. Traditional, let's begin with the definition of the concept of under discussion in order to harmonize our idea about it. Simply put, happiness is the absence of pain and suffering and the presence of joy and pleasure. But this is if we take a simplified approach to understanding happiness. If we go deeper into understanding this state, we can say that happiness is a feeling of satisfaction and bliss, which depends on many things, is often impermanent. A man is so arranged that no matter how good he is, in time he gets bored with it and again experiences dissatisfaction and therefore feels miserable. Therefore, I think the happiness is also ability to be happy. If not with everything, then with a lot of things in your life. It's a state of gratitude to life for simply being there. Whatever it's our life, the main thing is that it is here. Then one understands that this alone is a great value once feels happy. You have to understand a lot of a lot in life to see happiness in what many people don't see. To live, to breathe, to observe is happiness. To, to rejoice is sunrise, that's happiness. To hear the rustling of the leaves and singing of the birds is happiness. To look at the stars is happiness. Touching the snow with your hands is happiness. Pleasure, satisfaction, comfort that's happiness. You can list to infinity all those things that make us happy, provided provided we appreciate them, rather realize their value. But to come to this realization, so not easy, but you only, but you and I will do it, will pave the way to our happiness. Let's start with interest, because interest also plays a very important role in our life. You know, I was once very lucky when I was very young. I don't know how, to thanks to what, but I came to understand that in this life, necessary to deal mainly with interesting things, to reach to interesting things, because interest is very good motivator, a very useful motivator, thanks to which you can be quite active, hardworking, persistent, at the same time happy. Later, I realized that it's possible to love uninteresting things and make them interesting. A person adapts to everything, gets used to everything, and most importantly, can love everything. Well, almost everything. But it's important to initially focus on interest, not on obligation, not on sense of duty and other needs, but what one likes, to what is called one's soul. If you start with this, then the person will have curiosity in, of the mind and purposefulness, and dreamless passion in his eyes, thanks to which it will be interesting to live, to strive for something. Isn't that? Isn't it happiness to live all the time for the sake of something, enjoying what you do? Our lives can be anything, absolutely. We don't have any special life path for each individual person. They're just bad paths and lead to suffering and pain, and good paths to the feel content. And there can be many choices in these two directions. You can be happy about many things, and you can be suffer from many things. So what you dedicate your life, your happiness will be connected to that. Or unhappiness if your choice are bad. But I think most people realize what's important in life, what makes sense to dedicate it to. Then you're bound to experience some kind of happiness by doing what they like. Whether it will be complete depend on what exactly the person choose. Here we cannot depart from traditional eternal values to which nature itself orientates us. And these are family, children, friends, and the world, people dear to us. People are more important than anything else, I think. But other things to have their, have, let's say, have their value and make life interesting, beautiful, and joyful. Consequently, if you devote yourself to family values, you'll have you'll have happiness, and you will devote yourself to work, your to your career, you will have another happiness. Maybe you devote yourself to some great idea which is valuable to you. Then any success is implementation will make you a happy person. There's happiness is everything. You have to just find it. You way, you just have to go where your heart is. And again, I believe that family, children, good friends on whom you can rely, and job that contributes to self-fulfillment and does not prevent you from paying attention to those people you love and the values the nature is defined for us are the most important. That makes you sense. They they are about life, about sustaining and continuing it. Everything that gives you life, sustain and develops. It's very valuable, and if you dedicate yourself to it, you will inevitably be happy. In order to devote yourself to it, you have to devote an interest in these values. We have it, but nature. But it's not reason enough to say what that's why a person needs the right education and the right training thought. He understands what's important in life and what's not, what's joy in this and that way of life, and why you have to sacrifice some joys for others. In general, the ability to be happy must be taught by educating people about life, values, and priorities. And these are based on our innate needs. Let's talk about them. Requirements or needs, let's say. So needs are a very important part of our lives. Agree with me or not, but I believe that person is happy with his needs are met, and they're what our whole life is based on. We are constantly focused on satisfying our need or another. Nature has built in the man the desire to achieve goals related to his needs. If he achieves them, he feels great satisfaction, joy, pleasure. This is his reward to success in things important from the point of view of nature. If these goals not achieved, a person feels discomfort, dissatisfaction, and pain, both physical and mental. So if you feel unhappy, consider which your needs are currently unmet and how relevant they are. Should we say to you, keep in mind that some needs may not be completely natural. When say you're not happy that you don't have an expensive car, so feel special, you have to see superiority over the someone and you want to satisfy those needs, but your material capacity tell you that your other needs are more important to satisfy, such as good nutrition to have good health, education, that you can start earning more, that you can buy expensive things you need. People often do not understand which of their needs should be met at the moment. They always want more than what they don't have. This is one of the reasons by their constant dissatisfaction, which make them feel unhappy. If you constantly think about what you don't have rather than what you do have, happiness will always be somewhere out there, far away, in the future rather than here and now. Think about it. What does man even need? Do we need something to eat in order to survive? We do. Do we need to sleep? We do. Do we need to security? We need it. Do we need to reproduce or sexual desire? We do, and so on. We have many needs. There is even an opinion that they are infinite, like our desires. I don't know in this, but so I want to share the opinion. For me, it's more important to understand another one, which is our needs should be satisfied first, which should be satisfied second, and so on. Then a person won't meet the main thing, chasing the hard to get. Because in my opinion, it's not reasonable. When, for example, a person malnourished but wants to attract attention to himself by buying expensive thing, trying to appear to be something he is not. What will he get from it? Attention, respect, recognition, and what good will that do? Is it better to care of yourself, to become someone than to draw attention to yourself, but by sacrificing your health, by surprising, pleasing, and entertaining people? Or here's another example: when instead of education, people spend money on entertainment, then they are surprising that they live in bad way. Well, how could they being not valuable enough and therefore depend on labor market not having the necessary skill, business and other activities in which persons without a good education can succeed, receive the credit only because they want to. That's not this case. The person should be demand, useful, necessary, to be highly appreciated and appropriately rewarded. Therefore, it's important to strive to meet those needs, which adequate to your current situation. Health, knowledge, education with people, communication with the opposite sex. These must be in order so that it will be the order other things. When everything in order and person are successful in different areas of his life, of course, he will be happy. We are all happy when we succeed and get what we want. And there's another important point. It's important to able capture happiness. There are many moments in our lives when we feel happy by meeting our simplest needs. Take for example a person who is suffering from his thirst, who simply can't get enough, who thinks that only water, who is so thirsty that he's ready to give up everything for a glass of water. And imagine you give him that glass as long as he drinks and quenching his thirst, for a while he will feel like happiness man in the world. Do you agree? Happiness will come to him at the time, and he will just have fix it, feel and value at the moment. It will pass quickly as soon as craving recedes. Other thoughts, other desires related to other needs will occupy his head. It's natural. It happens to everything and everyone. But there will be a moment of happiness, alright? That's what we need to enjoy. Because everything else in our lives that's connected to our needs will also be impermanent. Nothing can enjoy forever. Everything ends at some point, but there are many such moments when happiness with us, in us, everyone's life. They should be appreciated and remembered and noticed. Then you will realize that little things bring the same happiness as a big success. Not the only difference is the time during which you will feel happy. How now let's move on to what I call the secret of happiness, which I realized that in very recent. It has to do with I just told you in my lines. And what's secret of happiness? In fact, I have already revealed it about saying that we must to be able to live those moments of happiness that occur regularly in our lives. Now we will only delve deep into understanding this ability. Look, friends. Look, friends. Look, friends. Our brain are always operating in modern mode that is either digging into the past, into our memories, or looking toward the future, into the man of desires. But in the present, the very moment we are in, our brains very rarely, we just don't live through happy moments, total enough to appreciate them highly. Here, a person feels good about their times and partially enjoy it if his mind whole and entirely in the past or future. It's important to be able to concentrate on the present, putting aside all unnecessary thoughts that they enjoy in your life in here, and you can be fully felt by. And we always have something to be happy about, always. You also need to be able to do this, to accept all the good things life gives you. Then you will always have these moments of happiness which exist here and now. Learn to be happy with what you have and be grateful for it. So once I learned to do it, to be happy with what I have, to focus completely to the present moment, I felt incredibly happy. You have to practice this ability. First, by constantly thinking about the good things you have in life and enjoying them. Second, by loading yourself up with thoughts about present moment so they don't go anywhere as past or future. Since the brain can't help itself, let it work with the here and now. Like song that says there's a moment between the past and future. That's what life is called. That's a moment you have to seize and enjoy. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about being satisfied with very little, thinking of nothing else and wanting nothing. It's not about limitation. It's about accepting what you already have, being able to fully enjoy what you have and being able to focus on it. You don't have to eat all the time. You don't need to be happy all the time. You have to suffer sometimes to be motivated to act. The main thing is to understand that happiness is here with us. You just have to start experiencing it. Put all your passion to rest. Do not extinct, extinguish and do not extinguish them completely, but put them to rest. Forget about them and the while. So what they do not disturb you, the sense of gratitude in your soul, what you have already have. Be happy about it and just calm down for a while. Look at your life. So many good things are in there, but you can enjoy, I'm sure, not a few. Focus on that. This is your life. It's already happening to you. You are living and your life a lot of good things right now. At least life itself enjoyable. Because of this, you will sink it and state of peace and tranquility. And you will be satisfied that you have accepted all that life has given, all that you are also, and that you yourself have achieved it. This is something to live. This is something to live by. Another important point has to do with how we see ourselves become happy. There are two of most common concept of happiness that people hold. According to the first concept, happiness must be thought, and according to the second, it must be built. And I add third, happiness can simply be seen, accepting, being happy with that there. All three concepts have the right to exist. Something or someone will have to look for it in life. For example, a suitable person for reason, relationship. For example, you shouldn't take just anyone for this role, like suitable person for a relationship. You lets you suffer later. And with something we have to work, for example, with the same person who we found tired out of late to him, think that him in future is important to us, but who despite this will never be perfect, no matter how much we would like it. That's why we should try to build a relationship with him so that it will be comfortable for both partners, making conscious somewhere, agreeing somewhere, and pushing out into the truth. This is a construction of happiness. Relationship works. They will never be perfect that you can just enjoy them without having any problems. It doesn't work that way. Well, according to the third concept, you have to be sure that to enjoy what each of us has, forgetting a while about what we don't have and what we still have to get. The same partner, when everything is good with him, is sure to give pleasure, and this pleasure should be enjoyed and not thought about how to improve, change, or educate a partner. That is internal concern about the imperfection of something or someone is completely unnecessary. If you think into it, you'll never be happy. There are also strong bias in favor of let's say there are also strong biases in favor of each of concepts that make us people unable to arrive at the happy state. This pure favor of this first concept forces people to constantly search for their happiness without thinking at all about building it. It's such easy way to think about this topic when happiness just have to be found. Because of this, people are completely unwilling to work on problems, no matter what they involve, like work or relationship. If we talk about relationship, people who are looking for their happiness do not approach them seriously enough. They rely on their feelings. They do not analyze the situation of person they meet and enter the relationship. They do not think about the prospect of relationship with them. They do not even think about the reasons for their sympathy for him. They feel good. This is enough to consider their feelings seriously. They even talk about love. Also, what kind of love can there be immature relationship unless it's just as green and unserious. Of course, such a relationship built on the feelings do not last because feelings too are fickle. They change over time, especially under the influence of various factors, such as a time problem that inevitably in any relationship. If a person is not used to working on himself on a relationship, not used to negotiate with his partner, to solve problems together with him, it's easier for him to just run away from these problems to another person with whom at first it will be just easy and interesting. So you can run around all your life and never come to anything. People think that somewhere out there is perfect partner for them who just needs to be found. They don't think about the flaws that cause the problem. These people they have gotten they're not going to work them, fix them and increase their own value. They are looking for the easiest way to avoid difficulties when they are just running from everything bad to everything supposedly good. Now the strong bias toward search for happiness, you can't find anything that way. Happiness is much more built than to be found. Happy is not the person who finds the best of everything, but the one who takes the best of what is available. There is also who makes this, let's say, he is the one who makes what he has the best for himself. So you can be happy with everyone in every person. You can be happy with many people. You you don't choose just ideal, but work on your relationship and build happiness together with the person who needs you. If the bias is toward building happiness, then people can tolerate simply horrible things such as bad jobs, uninhabitable environments, unfreedom, like inhuman partner who does not need them at all, so on and so forth. There can be a lot of bad things like in life putting up. That will certainly make hard to experience happiness. It's not for nothing it's not for nothing the part of our life for struggle. You can't put up with everything, and sometimes you have to fight for a better life, for love, for happiness. So you can sit by either, generally speaking. The problem here is that the person cannot dare to make changes when they simply necessary. Instead, he or she tries to fix unpromising affairs, restore dead and oppressive relationship, looking for the positive and complete utter negative. This fighting windmills never gets you anywhere. It's a future. You just have to admit that sometimes change is necessary for life. Not everything can be fixed. Not everything can be built and maintained. Sometimes you have to burn all bridges that there's no way to find happiness. Well, toward the correct, I suggest when a person is immensely happy with that, what he has and enjoy it, can lead to the fact that he will lose the motivation to achieve something more. A person may become too satisfied with his life and want more and better. But in life, you can't stand still. One must strive for something, in both interest and useful. That's why I say that we don't always need to feel happy. Happiness is fine, but it can be relaxing. It also motivates people to action. People are capable a lot of things to keep their happiness, but without negativity, without suffering, without pain, life will be incomplete. A person, in my opinion, should suffer, not very often, but not too much, but should, after all the time, he will be happy with what you have to, and to be happy all the time and do not see anything bad in your life. Then you can stop devoting and achieving nothing more. These are this kind of distortion on the side of different concepts of happiness that can make people not feel happy. But usually, people in constant state of dissatisfaction. They are not satisfied all the time. They are not satisfied with what they have and they cannot enjoy. That's why I think that's what you have to learn. It's unlikely to go extreme here with sense of gratitude for everything they have. They experience their happiness enjoying it. That's why I say to you, think more about the joys in your life, about life itself, a great gift for us, about your achievements which you came by being who are you now. After all, it's a beautiful, it's valuable. Don't compare yourself to others evaluating for your life. Other people have their own destinies and their own opportunities. You have yours. Concentrate yourself on your life, on everything that feels. Put away all thoughts of problems and worries, on the heights that you would like to achieve, but have not yet reached. Take a break from negativity. Forget about the whole for a while. There will always be something that you do not have. There will be always problems and some suffering, some pain, for this is how life is set up. There can never be perfectly stable state, and there is always something not as you would like it. You can't control life. No one can. It's completely to be under our complete control. But you can control your thoughts, your attention, that what makes you happy. If you can do it, you have to do it. Rejoice in what you can rejoice in. Immerse yourself in that you enjoy and think on it. It's much easier than changing the world, the people your own for your own happiness. And some people tell me that they have absolutely nothing to be happy about, that their life is horrible, that there's simply nothing good in. But I don't believe that. It can be like that. No matter how horrible life is, it can be all it can't be all bad. There must be some joy and to warm a person's thought. Life is not cruel to people as to complete this desperate them a joy, then it's valuable itself. There are of course cases when his life is unbearable. For example, because of several illness, it's easy to part with such like than to endure it. I understand that, but these are not such frequent cases that because of them you can give up the idea of happiness that I suggest, right? Through work, I managed to communicate with a huge number of different people. I can tell you that regardless of level, of quality of life, regardless of material well-being, social status, or opportunities, people feel unhappy. They're unhappy solely on their head, not in reality, causing them suffering, but in their thoughts about it. Even a very difficult life, it's not easy to be unhappy it's because in it's the fact that he he or she in this life is all that allows a person to change something, improve, influence something. And when there is nothing or even a lot of, how can you not love it? How can you not enjoy it or to feel happy? The only thoughts can be so bad that they will cause a person suffering. Always and everything you can see problem, negativity, something bad, terrible, which will force each us to suffer. But why do this? Why suffer when you can see good in your life and focus all your attention on it, forgetting while about the bad past and the future that has not come? Happiness needs awareness, acceptance, gratitude. Perhaps it could have been better, always something could have been better, well, but maybe not all the time he thought itself to carry, suffer it, feel dissatisfaction, resentment, anger, hatred. Understand that you can live forever with such poisonous thoughts. No achievement will save a person from such thoughts, but he himself can do it by the time. Let's earn happiness. Let's discuss what does it mean earn happiness. Dear my friend, think about whether a person should deserve his happiness or should it come to him just like that because he wants it. Or if you do not come, let's say, should the realize of happiness happen by itself, think about how right it's for this world, how people should get something valuable. As you would understand the possibility of finding happiness, you need to decide for yourself whether it should be deserved or something else, or justify your answer before watching this. Here I know many people who treat others so badly, especially those who treat them as well and even love them, that I cannot understand why such people should be happy, why their entitled is so such awarded in this life. After all, if they themselves make others unhappy, why should them have to be happy? I believe that no matter how happiness comes to us, and whatever each of us see it for himself, and here there may be different opinions, a person should be deserved. Well, something really valuable can just fall on our heads, even we are really wanted. Let's take some selfish people that I know not a little about thanks to my work, and who, for example, according to them, really want to be happy. I believe that these I believe that these are very scary people who are dangerous to love and to whom it's scary to get used. After all, these are immature people, infantile, who do not care about everyone but themselves. They do not answer good well as a rule, and they do not know how to love even themselves. Also, they themselves do not think so. Spitting into the soul of others, stepping on the heart of soul of people for the sake of their endless and meaningless desires, they lead themselves to suffer. When they suffer, when they're in pain, they think they are just unlucky, though they should be. They do not understand what they have suffered, for even though their own regardless of desires have brought them, in which they have seen their happiness. You see, egoists never think of who they themselves may suffer because of their recklessness, their champ of greed and shortness. These are people who split the world without thinking about tomorrow. They just want something. They see no point in denying themselves, restraining themselves, limiting themselves. They want to get everything from life. At the same time, they miss and lose a lot. They have no understanding of what not to get in this life. Sometimes you need to abandon base and primitive values for the sake of gaining more sublime and important things. But it's difficult to them to come such to understand because I repeat, it's not mature people who have not grown stars. Therefore, a content with the earth into which they have birthed, giving them something light and clean. The same kindness, love, care, and respect is like throwing beads from a pig's. They are not able to appreciate this, including their own regret for everything simply beyond their understanding. If it were otherwise, they wouldn't be selfish. Egoists are a source of pain and suffering. Therefore, they themselves deserve only suffering, not happiness. For in most cases, it's suffering and pain that can teach them at least something. For example, to appreciate a good attitude toward yourself and not to see it an opportunity to see a person. Happiness is the fullest and present is high spiritual value that you cannot buy, you can't take away. Even more so you will not get just many selfish people who would like to. It must be deserved otherwise. If it will not be a value. After all, valuable in this life rely falls on the road in dust. Some of my colleagues call egoist monsters and monsters who have either soul or not heart. I do not share this opinion, although sometimes you can think so. I think that after all such people have both soul and heart, but they are not all the time mature. So they do not even understand what true happiness or true love is. These people must be pulled out to teach a better understanding of life in order to appreciate what is in it and see happiness more important and valuable thing, and not pandering to their selfishness. It's very hard to do, but you have to try. especially if you live with the egoist people. If you do not know, you will live like a volcano because selfish people do not count to anyone on anything. For the sake of some kind of pleasure, including for the sake of love they invented, they can leave everything and everyone. They leave their wives and husbands who have done a lot for them, abandon their children, friends, and relatives just to satisfy their desires once again at any cost, throwing everything at the altar of pleasure. That's why such people can't be happy. The happiness is temporary, like happiness of a child who asks a toy in store, but at home he can throw it into a corner and forget about it. To deserve happiness means to grow up to it. If this doesn't happen, happiness will be simple and temporary, not as serious and comprehensive as that of understanding adults and responsible people who know the price of many important things in life. Sometimes you just need to accept happiness when someone gives to you and not wipe your legs against him, being forever dissatisfied with everything. In this sense, it's not difficult to earn happiness if you are wise and know measure of everything, otherwise it will always elude you. Selfishness helps people get something that makes them happy for a while, but it's also for them too much to lose. Sometimes much more than the gained thereof. Therefore, the fate of egoist is loneliness and suffering associated with it. Not all single people are selfish, but almost all selfish people find themselves alone, which of course is real hell. They stay with someone they always really love themselves. Take care of your happiness. Allah's happiness must be protected. Whatever is for you, whatever for you find, take care of it with all your might. In this life, losing and destroying are always easier than finding and building. How many broken hearts, how many wounded souls, how many bitter tears I saw in my life working with people with their grief and their problems, which arose because people did not appreciate what they had, and do not take care of their, do not scamp and temptation to constantly seek your happiness elsewhere in the future. Everything blind and inaccessible always seems better than what you have, but this is in many cases an illusion, let's say. Instead, take a closer look at what's already next to you, what you have, that many will be enough to keep you happy. But a desire to get more can deprive you of everything because it blinds you, preventing you from seeing the value in what it is. We are so arranged that we are forever pulled somewhere. We think that all best is somewhere elsewhere in future time, and not with us, not nearby, either here or now. And therefore, we do not take care of what we have and having lost. And we cry bitterly. We ourselves hurt our hearts. We execute ourselves. We do not protect, do not appreciate, do not accept, and do not thank. Do not bring to this. Do not offend your happiness. Do not hurt your loved one. Do not throw those who are close to you, who need you, and do not betray love, friendship, and other bright feelings. This is all your happiness. Keep it all like apple on eye. Anyone can resist temptation. Anyone cope with fears and uncertainty. Anyone can overcome a variety of difficulties that life sends to prevent them from ruining their happiness. Protect your happiness from other people's attacks, as well as cause destructive words which people are often poison everything good and bright. Remember, the happy people are always jealous, and envy can make people real monster. And let's say unhappy people can be jealous, envy to make people can make monsters ready to do anything that destroys someone else's happiness. Unable to find, build, and preserve their happiness, they want to kill someone else, not realizing that this will not give them anything. will not fill their life and will not bring joy to it. But they do not, driven by the evil and pain that consume them. Some these people, if you cannot help them, do not let them approach to a wholesome thing in your life. Do not listen them. Do not believe in them. Happiness is a fragile. If you do not protect it from evil, it will break, split along the way. Your heart of other people who were happy with you will destroy it. If you're happy, you will not be left alone. You will not be left alone. Someone always climbs into the life of happy people, into our happiness, their reader, their watchers, even climbs in order to spread itself to the good, bright, pure and great, in order to destroy all our bliss. You are a strong and great person. If you can resist this, and the reward for this will be the best happiness that will ascend your soul to heaven. Well, if you know how that you are a weak person, it's better it's better to avoid anything that can lead you you off the truth path. Avoid temptation that fears they will not overcome you. It's okay. Not all of us are given the strength to deal with evil, both within ourselves and in our outside the world. Ask the God to give you these powers. The while they are not there but to avoid temptation and fears with all your might. This will be the best protection for you against them. And also same friend, please do not forget that even the most terrible and insidious external enemies of our happiness not as scary as our own regardless, due to which we can lose a lot that makes us happy. The worst enemy of our happiness lives with us. It is the hardest to beat. People often drive the last nail into the lid out of the coffin of their own happiness, become enemy to themselves. To defeat this enemy, you need to hold your impressible desires in your hands, not allowing them to overcome your own mind, not allowing them to destroy all the good that's in your life and what makes you a happy person. Greed, boredom, resentment, anger, hatred, temptation, this is all in him. Your inner enemy has these are feelings that overshadow the mind that lead a person into the abyss. They're always inside us and guide us. But if a person is reasonable, if he tries to deliberate things, these enemies will not harm him or deprive him of happiness. He can be pushed to dangerous changes for person as to bad life, but when you already not rich and just need to change something to good, which has either concern or doubt, in which second case ideas alone can cause wild boredom, which forces people to look for advantages and their fifth point. These advantages can bury happiness that person already has, but which he has never learned to enjoy. It turns out that such seemingly important value as free time can become worse of enemy of happiness. Because only a few can completely dispose of them, devoting them to study, exercise, to maintain health and other useful things. Most people spend his time to entertainment, including harmful ones, chasing more and more unusual sensation and thus creating a problem for themselves. These problems indicate that a person is doing something wrong because God speaks to people in the language of life circumstances, sending them all kind of suffering when they do the wrong thing to guide them on the truth path. But not all people understand this language. But he is very simple. But doing what God needs, life, you receive kind of encouragement, reward. By doing against his intention, you receive pain and suffering. If you are attentive, so to so, let's say, if you are attentive to such patterns, you can be happy enough person who does not make stupid and unnecessary mistakes that take away everything good from us. We all have feelings that drive us. There is a mind that has to control them. If there is no control, the feelings will quickly destroy us. You can live only with feelings. You cannot. We are human beings, have a mind, so we have to use it to understand our happiness, not just feel it. Understanding gives a person much more than temporary flash of feelings, however strong. This confirm my own experience, that of many people who have generously shared with me their understanding and sense of happiness, for which I'm beyond grateful. Before not knowing a lot of and having experienced a lot, I did not understand very well what happiness and how to achieve it. My dear friends, please comment below that what happiness means for you. Do you happy, or you what makes you happy also? What kind of needs or requirements make you happy? Or do you care about your happiness? Please leave the below comments, and will be interesting for us to read. And I know that happiness needs not so much to be found, but to be seen, accepted, and preserved. It's not anywhere in outside the world, it's with us, in our heads. And I really want to, my dear friends, to know about this. Maybe you disagree with this, or you can also write below that if you disagree about this. But just think about my vision and understanding of our human happiness. Suddenly, it will give you something good and help you with something. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please write your own opinion, that what does it mean happiness for you, and share your own views about happiness, or also share that how you solve when you're unhappy, how you solve your problems, that to be more happy. Thank you, and see you next week.